In tonight's episode, we travel deep into the hills of northern Thailand, just outside Chiang Mai, to uncover one of the most terrifying and forgotten legends in the country. This story takes place in a rotting farmhouse buried in the jungle of Mae Rim. Locals call it the House of 100 Corpses. They say the walls still whisper, the ground still breathes, and the air itself tries to warn you to leave. Over the years, people have gone missing there. Some say they went mad. Others claim they never left at all. So what happened in this place? And why do villagers still cross the street just to avoid walking past it? Let's step inside the house no one dares to enter and find out what's buried beneath. The story begins with a man named Jirawat, a freelance videographer known online for exploring abandoned places across Southeast Asia. He wasn't a skeptic, but he wasn't a believer either. He chased stories, urban legends, local myths, and places where something terrible once happened. So when a comment on one of his videos mentioned the House of 100 Corpses tucked away in the overgrown hills of Mae Rim, he was intrigued. No exact location, no clear history, just a name and a warning. Don't go near it. It took him weeks to find it. Locals refused to give directions. Even Google Maps showed the area as a blur, with no street view, no road name, no data. He eventually found an old trail that snaked through the forest, swallowed by vines and silence. At the end of it, there it was. A sagging wooden house, half consumed by jungle, as if nature itself was trying to bury it. Jirawat wasn't the first to film there, but the last guy who did, his channel went dark 2 years ago. No goodbye, no final upload, just silence. Inside, the air was thick, not just dusty, wrong. Like the walls were holding their breath. His equipment kept glitching, batteries drained for no reason. And the farther he stepped in, the more it felt like he wasn't alone. Before we go any further, do not take this story lightly. This isn't just entertainment. Stories like this leave something behind. So if you want to stay safe tonight, subscribe now. Or she just might follow you home. At first, it was quiet. Too quiet. No birds, no wind, not even the sound of insects. Just the soft creak of floorboards as Jirawat stepped into the house, camera in hand. The place looked exactly like the rumors described. Collapsed walls, a shrine in the corner, covered in soot, ropes nailed into beams. And beneath the rotting floorboards, something that looked like it had been disturbed recently. He started filming, narrating softly, but the audio kept cutting out. Not static, just silence, as if his voice didn't want to be recorded there. Then, as he moved into the hallway, he saw it. A door at the end sealed shut with what looked like dried red wax. Strange symbols were carved around the frame. Not Thai, not anything he recognized. He reached out to touch it, and the temperature dropped. Sharp, sudden, like walking into a freezer. He backed away, unsettled, and decided to explore the rest of the house before touching anything else. That's when he noticed the smell. At first, faint, then stronger. Sweet, rotting, and oddly metallic. He checked his bag. No spilled food, no dead animals. But it clung to him, heavy in the air. Then came the drums. Not loud, not even clear, just a low, distant thump, 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 like something pulsing from inside the walls. He turned off his camera, waited, nothing, turned it back on, and the drums started again. That was the first time he wondered, was this place reacting to him? And if so, why now? Why him? The deeper Jirawat went, the worse it got. In the second room, he found an altar made entirely of bones. Not animal bones, at least. Not all of them. Some looked far too human, arranged carefully, like offerings. Dried flowers surrounded the pile, wilted decades ago, but somehow still holding form. A candle sat in the center, half burnt, still warm. He didn't light it, but someone, or something, had. He tried to speak, to narrate what he was seeing, but his throat locked up. His voice cracked, then disappeared entirely. Panic surged, but only for a second. until it passed. He told himself it was nerves. That's when the voices started. Not outside, not from another room, inside the mic. When he reviewed the audio, faint whispers came through, layered, male, female, old, young, speaking in a language that didn't match anything he knew. The whispers said one thing clearly, though, over and over again. Don't open the red door. He hadn't mentioned the red sealed door in any footage. Not yet. How did they know? Then came the man. An old villager appeared at the edge of the clearing as night began to fall, thin, shirtless, skin like leather. He didn't approach the house. He just stood there, staring through the trees. Girawat stepped outside to speak to him, keeping his camera rolling. The old man didn't blink, didn't move. He simply said, "She likes the ones who film. They give her new eyes." Then he walked away. No name, no warning beyond that. Just vanished into the trees. Back inside, the drums returned, closer now, rhythmic, ritualistic. And behind the red-sealed door, something scratched. 3 times. Soft, deliberate. Girawat locked eyes with his camera lens, breathing hard. He didn't say it out loud, but the look said everything. He knew he wasn't alone anymore. And the house knew he knew. The red door was open. He didn't remember opening it, didn't film himself doing it, but there it was, cracked just enough to reveal total darkness inside. No floor, no walls, just black. A space that looked deeper than the house itself, and from within, the air pulsed with that same slow drum beat, like a heartbeat coming from underground. He raised his flashlight, but the beam didn't penetrate. It just vanished, like the darkness inside absorbed light. Suddenly, every door in the house slammed shut at once. The camera shook in his hands, then a scream. Low, long, and impossibly close. Not a woman's voice, not human at all. It came from every direction, vibrating through the walls, through him. He stumbled back, tripped, and fell hard. And when he looked up, there were handprints on the ceiling. Hundreds. Small ones. Childlike. Some smudged, some smeared in dark red. All reaching down toward him. His flashlight flickered, then died. For a split second, he saw something crawl out of the open door. All limbs, no face, bones bent the wrong way. And then it was gone. No more drums, no more whispers, just silence, except for the sound of something breathing just inches behind him. Girawat didn't run. He couldn't. Something about the house held him in place, not physically, but spiritually. Like the moment he stepped through the threshold, some invisible contract had been signed. But then, through the haze of fear and adrenaline, he noticed something he hadn't seen before. Etched along the inside of the red door, hidden beneath layers of soot and grime, was a series of carvings, dozens of names, scratched in desperation, some crossed out, others untouched. And at the very bottom, his own name, fresh, still dripping. That's when it hit him. The cult that once lived here didn't just perform rituals, they bound people. Sacrifices weren't random. They were marked, chosen, drawn in by the house itself. That's why the villagers stayed silent. That's why the land kept being sold over and over for a fraction of its value. It wasn't haunted. It was hungry. And every new owner, every explorer, every so-called ghost hunter that stepped inside was feeding it. Suddenly, every strange glitch in his camera, every whisper in his mic, every drumbeat in the walls, they weren't hauntings, they were warnings. Echoes from those who came before, begging him to leave. But the door was now fully open, and he knew something had already stepped through. The footage ends mid-frame. No outro, no goodbye, just static. Girawat's channel hasn't uploaded since. His last post, a community update, simply reads, "Some places don't want to be seen. I get it now." Authorities found his car abandoned on the forest trail 2 days later. Camera gear still inside. But the house? Gone. No structure, no ruins. Just thick jungle like nothing had ever stood there at all. Locals weren't surprised. They just nodded and said, "It moved." Some say the house of 100 corpses never stayed in one place, that it drifts through the hills, waiting to be found again, that the red door only opens for the ones it wants. And if you've watched this far, maybe that includes you. If you wake up tonight to the sound of drums, don't answer the knock. And whatever you do, don't look under your bed. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked this video and want to listen to more true horror stories from Asia, feel free to subscribe and put on your notifications. I upload at least 3 times a week. Wish you all the best.